What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Destiny Asia. So I wanted to jump back on here real quick and talk about the conversation that is being had on social media as to why it's okay to talk about Ti's son King and talk about how he's facially challenged, but it's not okay for us to talk about Lizzo and her size. So I want to delve into that. This conversation started because most recently the comedian Aries Spears, he went under fire for going onto a podcast and he was asked about whether or not he likes Lizzo music, something of that nature, but it was pertaining to her music. And he went on to talk about his disdain about how she looks, and even said that the lady looks like the poop emoji. So that was very interesting coming from someone who is also heavy set in he's facially challenged as well. And the reason why I wanted to have the conversation about the double standards between King and Lizzo is because of the fact of, if you're looking at an Ari Spears and you're looking at his body type, you would think, how is a man with this body type talking about this woman? And so keep that in mind when I break down the double standard on why people are outraged when you say something about Lizzo versus when you're saying something about King, right? So I want y'all to understand something. A lot of what we deal with in life is double standards when it comes to men and women, and it just people everybody isn't able to do the same thing, right? I'm gonna just keep it a book. A man's social currency is his money. Men are not judged by how they look. They're judged off what they have. A woman's social currency is her beauty. We're not judged off what we have. Men couldn't care less about any of our accolades, any of our achievements, anything like that. The average man couldn't care less about what a woman has. Men care about how a woman look, and if she does have something, it's a plus, right? So we have to keep in mind, or we're dealing with social constructs here. So when you have a woman who is being dragged and she's being ridiculed about how she looks, that's her social currency. So it hits a little bit harder than a man getting dragged about how he looks. Men don't care nothing about that for the most part. I do understand that men have self-esteem issues. They deal with body image issues as well. But for the most part, men don't care about that. If a man is dealing with those things to boost himself up, he'll go out and he'll get him some money. 9 times out of 10, the way a man looks isn't going to affect his love life if he has enough money. The worst thing that you could say to a man is that he's broke or in his penis is little. But we just gonna keep it surface level so we could make all of this make sense. Socially speaking, with the social constructs that we have in one social currency, the worst that you can say about a man is that he's broke. Calling a man facially challenged, calling a man big, it doesn't matter to them like it matters to a woman. That's the same way how Ari Spears was able to get his big butt up there on that podcast, and he was able to be a big man himself and also drag Lizzo and say that Lizzo looks like the poop emoji when Ari Spears himself is a BBW, right? Let's be very clear. But he got up on that platform and he dragged her because guess what? He doesn't register his looks like a woman registered their looks. It's big men or facially challenged men or all the time will drag a woman that has the same body type as them about how she looks because that what hits hard for a woman. don't nobody use "oh you broke" as a jab for a woman unless they are both rich, supposed to be rich and famous or whatever. Then at that time you'll hear jabs like that. And then sometimes people just be catty or whatnot, and it'd be like, "Oh, you broke and you this, that, and the third." It doesn't hit the same if you're calling a man broke. So let's be very clear. It has everything to do with the our social construct. Is it okay that T.I.'s son King uh always is in the somebody headlines about being facially challenged, and there are all these memes and everything out there about him? Is that okay? No, it's not okay. Is it body shaming the same as it is body shaming this big woman? It's definitely the same thing. Body shaming is body shaming. It doesn't matter the gender, the sex, identity, or anything like that. Body shaming is body shaming. But let's keep it a buck. Is King facially challenged? He is. Is Lizzo a big woman? She is. So some people will say, well, why we can't call her big if she actually is big? I hope I explained that to you guys. And this is not to say, hey, you know what, lay up off her a little bit, because I go in on Lizzo myself and anybody else who do things that I do not like. But I just wanted to put that out there to get a better understanding as to why there isn't the same amount of outrage when T.I.'s son is called facially challenged. And then also we have to be honest with ourselves as well. We live in a world where our social construct isn't very accepting of people of larger frames. I'm a big woman myself, so I have dealt with some of um, the fat phobia that comes with being big. But I can't. I'd be dishonest if I was to say that my experience is that of someone like Lizzo. You know, where people just look at me and be like, "Oh, you're disgusting" or anything like that. I don't deal with that. But I think that a lot of the backlash that Lizzo received partially is because of her presentation, the raunciousness, and the things that she does. I don't think a lot of it has to do with her weight. I'm not gonna say none of it has to do with her weight, because people will use things as a way to disguise their fat phobia. But we just got to keep it real. Lizzo running around at basketball games with the booty cut out of shirts, or having on clothes that's too little, that's not befitting, not compliment her body, and all of that, where she's making herself look unappealing. I understand what people have to say about it. Now, if you're just, oh, she's a big girl, so she shouldn't wear a two-piece, now you going too far. But it's okay to show your skin. Being fat get hot. You get what I'm saying? If anybody want to go without some clothes on, it should be big people, because being fat is hot. You hear me? So the thing is, it's not to put the girl in a bind and say, hey, you can't show your skin, but it's just the way that she does it. It just be a little bit over the top. And another thing people have to understand is, when you are a big woman, this is even, I'm gonna say a big person, period, but primarily a big woman. When you are a big woman, people feel, they start treating you like you're not deserving of love. You're not worthy. You shouldn't have any standards. You should just be happy that a man is paying you any attention. If a man does love you, then he only they people on the outside feel like the man only wants you because you're taking care of him. It's all of these undertones that comes with it. You have people that will look at a big woman who is happily uh married or in a relationship, and you'll see comments like, dang, I can't even get a text back, but she got somebody that'll love her. So that will lead one to believe that people generally think that a bigger person is undeserving of love, especially a big woman. So when you're dealing with that, or you're hearing that, when you're hearing, oh, you're fat and you're a woman, it's something else that comes with that, where if you haven't had that experience, if you haven't lived in a larger body for most of your life or any part of your life, then you wouldn't understand how that hits, because it's so, all of that is so, it's loaded. You know, when someone call you big, it's loaded. You get what I'm saying? But the thing is, the good thing about being big, you can lose the weight if you choose to. If you feel like it's too much, you can lose the weight. Unfortunately, someone who is facially challenged, like someone like King, that appears to be missing a chromosome or two, unfortunately, he cannot do anything about the way that he looked. He was naturally born like that. So I think it's more, if you really want, if you really want to think about the level of pain that comes with being a certain thing, I would think that being called ugly would be be above being called fat, because you can't do anything about being ugly. Now, of course, we live in a day and time where plastic surgery is a thing, and you can make alterations to yourself if you were to choose to do so. But something of that nature isn't something that a man is going to typically do. And also, it's just not something that, a man is um expected to do anyway. Because we don't look at a man that is facially challenged and be like, especially King. Nobody King comes from a rich family, right? This is a rich little rascal. So this little rascal, even though he is facially challenged, he's rich. We know that man is not gonna he's not gonna ever have a problem with getting women, because he's rich. It doesn't matter if you're rich and you're a big woman. You're still going to have to deal with a problem, with issues with, you know, finding a man sometimes, because of how the world is set up. And it's probably even worse to be a big rich woman, because especially a rich black woman, because one, women with money already have a hard time with finding a man because of the challenges that comes with it, or maybe they feel intimidated about the woman being the breadwinner. And then also you have the fact that you're big, and socially not to say that you're unattractive or anything like that, because there's a lot of big women that's attractive. I'm a big attractive woman. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of big attractive women. But in the grand scheme of things, being big is undesirable, right? So you can be attractive, you could be a beautiful woman, but that doesn't mean that your body type is desirable across the board. So you have people who absolutely love big women, right? But generally speaking, everybody gonna like a Beyonce type, and then there might be 50% of those who like the Beyonce type that like big women as well. You get what I'm saying? So your wiggle room is a little bit slimmer, so to speak. So you don't have that much wiggle room. So Lizzo might be in a worse position than your average big girl, because of the fact that she has the money and she's big or whatever. So it's a lot that comes with that. Now, if somebody just having fun and just poking fun and it's all in good humor, and they're talking about Lizzo weight, I don't see anything wrong with it. For instance, and I'm not trying to internalize the situation, because for instance, I have, excuse me, I have people that joke on my weight all the time, but I joke on them about certain things too. And it's all in good fun. It's not to hurt me. It's not to be mean. It's not to be nasty. It's not one of those things like Aries Spears did. Like, some people just be straight up nasty towards Lizzo. Like, if Lizzo is out acting a fool and doing what she be doing, and dressing all kinds of ways or whatever, and then we come on here and we drag her forward and we mention her weight or whatever, cool. But if she's sitting back minding her business, not bothering anybody, you being asked a question about her music, then you start dragging her weight, then that's not cool. The same thing with T.I.'s son King. If King is just sitting around, he's minding his business, he's not being problematic or anything like that, we should not be dragging that boy about how he looks. Now, if that little rascal get on live and get to doing something, get to arguing with short cooks all at Waffle House or whatnot, and doing too much, then at that time, because you've made yourself a topic of discussion, then the memes are gonna start coming in. So I can fully understand how he ended up getting dragged at that particular time. But if he's not being problematic, he's minding his business, then no, it's not okay to drag him. It's a time and it's a place. So let's be very clear. You think Lizzo, she sit around and she's all peaceful and she don't have anything to say about anybody? Lizzo goes off on folks and call them to tell them bye bitch and all this, and tell them to kiss her ass and all of this old kind of stuff. So she is able to say what she want to say to people as well. And if somebody were to clap back at her and use something that they think is gonna hurt, that's what people do when they are clowning. That's just what it is. So for people to get so outraged about her being called big, I think people have to think about what is the circumstances of what's surrounding it. Why is this coming out? If people are just dragging this girl just for her sheer existence, that's not cool. The same way it is with King. If you're just dragging this boy just for his sheer existence, that's not cool at all. We can't have that. That's very problematic. We would not get anywhere as a society as if we were to do that. So to answer you guys' questions in summary, is it okay to call King facially challenged, but we can't call Lizzo big? No, it's not okay. It's a double standard. But if you've gotten this far in the video, if you came in the middle of the video, if you go back in the beginning, I explained the difference between how men and women are viewed socially in our social currency, as to why there is an outrage when a woman is talked about regarding her looks versus a man. Y'all drop down in the comments, give me y'all thoughts and opinions on this, whether you agree with what I said or not. That's cool. I would definitely love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this subject. If you're here, you're listening, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, trying to get those numbers up. Hit that like button to get pushed all through the algorithm. And thank y'all so much for tuning in with me. I'm about to tune out. Y'all have a good one.
I hope you black men were paying attention. I hope you black men were paying attention.